Tuesday, August 31st, 2021. Holy mackerel, the end of August. I can't believe it. I'm David Menzies and my co-host. Oh, wow. Let me tell you about my co-host, folks. If she were a car, she'd be a Rolls Royce. If she were a wristwatch, she'd be a Rolex. She is a one-woman convoy going across Canada on a roll, spreading common sense. She is the she-devil with a sword. She is the Khaleesi of Northern Alberta. She is Sheila Gunn Reid. How you doing there, Sheila?
David, that was deadly. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Justin, I don't know if my Skype feed is falling apart or what's going on, but there were a lot of things uploading and downloading on my computer before I came on air. David, it's great to see you. How was your weekend? You had a very busy weekend, as always.
Yeah, no, I did indeed. And yesterday I was brought in on emergency mission to do the live stream and sub in for Ezra, who's the most busy person here at this company. And I got to tell you, just to show how special I think of you, Sheila, my co-host yesterday was High Energy Andrew Says, and he said, "Can I have an introduction like Sheila Gunn Reid gets?" And I went, no. So, by the way, you keep fading in
I
and
know.
out.
I don't know what is going on.
Are the kids on the internet again?
No, that's my computer software doing something terrible. Yes, please, would you mind calling me back? My computer software is doing all sorts of crazy things. So I think maybe, we'll give me a call.
Okay, we're going to call Sheila Gunn Reid back. And I'll tell you, folks, we have a whole host of subjects to talk about today, as always. But let me tell you something, the Rumble rants that we're promoting, I have to point out that those Rumble rants, you can only do a Rumble rant, through your web browser. So there's no cell phone application to facilitate this. That's just temporary. I hear from our friends at Rumble, they're working on that because, well, these days, if you're not on your phone almost all your life, you're just not with the happening set, are you? So please, if you're going to do a Rumble rant, go in front of your desktop, if you still have one, and send it in that way. And, Sheila, I was mentioning how you and I have a groovy kind of love, but last month I kind of went from your penthouse to your outhouse because I was showing you the latest car and driver, the EV of the year. It was a complete green car issue, and you were very upset about that. Well, I got to tell you, I want to get back in your good book. So what just dropped in the mail the other day was the latest issue of Car and Driver. Look at that, the new Ford Bronco, airborne, thanks to its good old-fashioned carbon-spewing engine. That's the kind of car, or vehicle, I should say, I could see you behind. And, I only bring it up because the hypocrisy, and we'll get to the subject later, Sheila, that I saw in Richmond Hill on Friday, when we have the Justin Trudeau Liberals telling us to go green, and I and Lady Menzoid both did that with our plug-in hybrid EVs. And yet here's Trudeau with two ginormous big red diesel buses with a security detail of 7, count them folks, 7 Chevy Suburban XL SUVs for the Mounties. And I'm just wondering, why don't these people practice what they preach, Sheila? I mean, there's no way that kind of a coach, there's 53 people that it can accommodate. There's no way there's 53 people on the Justin Trudeau bus, and then there's the Justin Trudeau media bus. I don't think there's 53 state-sponsored stenographers on that either. So,
I bet there is.
Man, maybe. I mean, every time I go around, they all run back to the bus like I'm typhoid Mary, right?
The bunker.
So they're good at throwing out softball questions, but when they see another journalist that's going to ask something abrasive like, are you guys sort of in a conflict of interest that you're being paid by the Trudeau Liberals and you're covering the Trudeau Liberals? Oh, no. It's no commento on that one. But anyway, Sheila, you would think just for optics that Trudeau would, because he's all about, the green economy, and carbon-free and electronic vehicles. Why doesn't he just go around town in those kind of vehicles in the first place? I mean, the hypocrisy is outstanding.
This idea manifests itself everywhere there is a green elitist. I've seen it time and time again play out in different cities across the world and across Canada. I've been to the UN climate change conferences on the inside and the outside, and those things run on diesel energy. When I was in Bonn, Germany, I could hear the beautiful hum of the light towers and the everywhere, the generators, the oil field style generators that fueled the place, as coal barges went by on the Rhine. And I'm not even joking, literally coal barges were going past the UN climate change conference. But these people are oblivious. It's just like socialism, right? Socialism is for the people, but never really the socialist, as Andrew Wilkow says. And it's never more true than with environmentalism or green socialism. It's the green policies are for the little guy. They're not for Jagmeet Singh and his BMW or whatever he drives.
It is not a BMW.
Yeah, and it's not for Justin Trudeau and his 2 buses and his, high-flying trips around the world. It's not for Liz May and her whatever the sports car that she had
Dodge
in the parade.
Viper.
Thank you. You're my car guy.
Boy, there's a green car if ever there was. Well, what is that? 640 horses under the hood?
Yeah, that thing's not sipping fuel, is it? So, you see this everywhere where they're like, Justin Trudeau, he's banning single-use plastics, but he's drinking from the old drink box water bottle sort of thing because he never thought.
Yeah, the drink box. What was he describing there? Was that supposed to be a Tetra Pak? Is that what he was trying to say?
I don't know. I went to Loblaw, the Loblaw store, the superstore, and I tried to figure out what he was talking about because I went to Loblaw because I'm like, what would be Justin Trudeau's favorite grocery store that he would send a helper to? And I thought, well, okay, it's got to be the one where he's given all the money to, the one that ripped off the poor people for bread prices. And I thought I would go there and maybe try to find it. And I think I sort of found it, but it's like a Tetra Pak with a plastic spout, and it's like a big thing that sits on the counter. I think that's it. I'm not sure. I don't think Justin Trudeau is sure either, but these people never think about practicing what they preach and what the implications of their bad policies would be in their own life. And as I've seen play out at climate change conferences around the world, the journalists around them are not even remotely skeptical. No. When I went to my first climate change conference in Morocco, I'm like, we're in the desert. Why is the ground wet every morning? We came early one morning to find out why. They were bringing in water trucks to water the ground to cut the dust. At the very same conference where if you went inside, you could find a half a dozen conferences inside, little breakout sessions that tell you to use low flow shower heads, and if it's yellow, let it mellow, or whatever these crazy policies these weird people want to impose on your life, and about how climate change is causing droughts, while they were literally watering the desert to stop the fancy people from getting dusty shoes. They couldn't even use the recycle bins inside the conference. Plastic water bottles, plastic food, everything's pre-packaged. And then they had, little garbage bins where this is for your composting, this is for your paper, this is for your plastic. They just all mixed it in. The environmentalists at the conference couldn't even use the garbage cans they want the rest of us to sort our household garbage into every single day. It happens over and over and over.
You're absolutely right. And also with these delegates, because we saw it ourselves when Mr. Producer and I went to Morocco for the immigration conference, which we were kept out of. They
love their walls.
Oh boy, do they love their walls and that was, like yourself, Sheila, that was our own government banning Canadian journalists from attending UN conferences. And what I observed, and by the way, they did us a favor. That was some of your best work, not getting into that conference, which would have been just endless virtue signaling.
Boring.
It would be a bun thrower of a display. And meanwhile, you go around, you don't go, oh, gee, no story. No, you got great story, better stories than being allowed in. That was truly the Barbara Streisand effect. And what I noticed again was giant SUVs, the likes of Cadillac Escalades, with one diplomat in it, something that seats 7 people. And these are who we're taking our marching orders from. And by the way, I am absolutely certain, because I can't think of any other packaging product, that Trudeau was describing a Tetra Pak. And unless technology has changed, Sheila, once upon a time I did a major factual feature for the Financial Post magazine on the recycling scam. And
it's a scam.
It sure is. And
don't get me started.
basically, I know from the experts in the field I talked to, Tetra Paks are amongst the hardest things, if not the hardest thing, to recycle compared to, say, PET plastic or glass or cardboard or the gold in the blue box aluminum, where you can actually get some good dough for that commodity. So when he's advocating a Tetra Pak, again, this guy doesn't have any idea what he's talking about, because he shouldn't be promoting that. At least that was the case back when I did that story.
Well, and when Justin Trudeau went on his anti-plastic crusade before he decided to ban single-use plastics and list it alongside lead and asbestos and CFCs, I mean, which is just crazy when you think about it. There's nothing more sanitary than plastic, and single-use plastics are the perfect garbage if you manage it properly, because I think recycling's a scam, but I think single-use plastics are a locked hydrocarbon that we can burn after the fact, that is easy to store, easy to transport, and you don't have to worry about, it exploding or starting on fire until you get it to the place where you plan to burn it for energy. But we pulled, at the time, Justin Trudeau's grocery bills for his house, because I thought, I know what I'm buying, and I don't buy single-use plastic water bottles because I don't want to deal with having to take them back to the recycling station. I just don't. So, you know what, the tap's fine. But not Justin Trudeau, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars in water bottles, plastic water bottles, while he's telling us that this stuff is akin to lead. So again, they live their life a certain way, and they know the media is never going to shed a skeptical light on any of it, and so they feel perfectly comfortable to do it. One of the standard stories from the UN climate change conferences that I do every year is I get there early when everybody's getting dropped off, and I get there. I go early, at 5 o'clock, because you only save the world on bankers' hours. So I would go at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and sometimes these same vehicles are sitting idling all day.
Yes.
Limos, buses, diesel buses, especially in Morocco, they were just idling them all day long.
We saw that too.
Yeah, they just sit there and idle and idle and idle all day long. And these are the same people who have these trickle-down policies into your municipality where you can't idle for more than 10 seconds, even if you're on a drive-through. It's just crazy. They live a certain way and we live another way.
Well, bottom line, before we get to our ostensible policy reason for these shows, Sheila, now that I am embracing the new Ford Bronco going airborne, and you know what, Sheila, what's better about this Ford Bronco compared to the Ford Broncos of the past?
Nothing. My brother had a red old Ford Bronco, red and white, and we took the top off and we lifted it. It was awesome. I don't know. That picture, though, makes me nostalgic for those days. The
answer is this Ford Bronco doesn't have O.J. Simpson in it.
You know what was funny? that they sort of discontinued the Ford Bronco after that because O.J. Simpson used it for his Escape, and then the replacement model for the Ford Bronco, or at least the Bronco 2, was literally a vehicle called the Escape.
Oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I never thought of that. Good call.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Take it away, Sheila.
To what? What are we supposed to be talking about? I got kicked off air there for a minute. Should I tell everybody what we're doing? We're 20 minutes into the show, or did you knock that out of the park while I was gone?
Well, we would also, I think, in addition to describe what we're trying to do here, we want to direct our YouTube viewers to Rumble, Odyssey, and Super U, because we will inevitably talk about some topics. I don't even want to say what the topic is. That might get us kicked out off of YouTube. So folks, as much as we appreciate that we have a huge 1.5 million plus subscriber base on YouTube, as Sheila likes to say, take the off-ramp, go to Rumble, Toronto-based company. Hey, love those Canadians, eh? And then we have Odyssey and Super U, and they're growing. And, you know, they're not where YouTube is, but YouTube wasn't an overnight success either. It took years and years. And remember, during those years, Sheila, come one, come all. We're the free space,
the free square.
And then when they got to critical mass, folks, of getting free content, I might, point out, we don't like your views, be gone. It's disgraceful. But anyways,
they invite you all to come. They basically turn into a large advertising company. Really, that's what they are. You, instead of having to actually produce content like a TV station would, you do it for free, and then they attach ads in front of it. They make some money off the ads, and then if they don't like you, they say, "Oh, by the way, we're going to keep all those ad dollars, and you're not going to get any, even though you gave us the content for free."
Talk about
a scam, YouTube!
Oh yeah. Bait and switch, Sheila. So in any event, I think if you, I'm waiting for direction from Mr. Producer in terms of...
Well, Mr. Producer told me that you did not exactly hit it out of the park when you were explaining the other platforms that we were on when I was briefly off air because my software was having a
I did.
Hysterical
what did
episode.
I get wrong?
I don't know, but I'll just do it one more time. If you're watching us on YouTube, we are probably going to talk about things that are not YouTube safe. So if you're watching us on YouTube, like David said, take the off-ramp to Rumble, which allows for something called a Rumble rant. But you can't do a Rumble rant on your mobile browser. You have to do it on desktop. Like the old-fashioned traditional browser. It's inconvenient for now, but they're working on it. And you can support the work that we do through Rumble Rant. There you can throw us a little cash and we'll read your comment on air. You can also support us on Odyssey, which allows for hyper chats and tips. And you can do that through their cryptocurrency, which is called the library, but you can also do it the old-fashioned way through fiat currency. And you can watch us on Super U, which you can leave us a tip as a creator there. And all of these are great free speech platforms that don't care about your politics. And I think that's the very most important thing. And so let's get on to talking about all those things that YouTube says we can't. How about it, David?
And you know what? Why don't we just start with the Friday event that I covered? Time to say goodbye to YouTube. Bye-bye. Y'all come back now, you hear? As they used to do on the Beverly Hills.